You know, the open sea is absolutely packed with ghost stories, but I'm telling you, few are as genuinely chilling and weirdly documented as the mystery of the SS Orang Medan. It's a story that kicks off with a frantic SOS and ends with, well, with a ship full of dead men and one last horrifying radio message. So what in the world really happened out there? All right, so picture this. We're in the Strait of Malacca. It's February 1948. This is one of the busiest shipping lanes in the entire world, and on this day, the weather's clear, the sea is calm, it's just a totally normal day. But for one ship out there, that very ordinary day was about to turn into an absolute nightmare. I die. Just 2 words. That was the last, terrifying message that crackled out from the Dutch freighter, the SS Orang Medan. It was the final, chilling piece of a puzzle that has left people scratching their heads for decades. So let's back up a bit. The very first sign that something was wrong came cutting through the airwaves. Other ships in the area started picking up this desperate SOS. And with every new transmission, the message just got more and more terrifying. Now, you gotta remember, this message came through in Morse code. Back then, this was the gold standard for distress calls. See, unlike a voice on the radio that can get all garbled by a storm or just distance, those simple dots and dashes, they could cut through pretty much anything. It was incredibly reliable, which makes the message that came through all the more chilling. The whole thing played out in 3 quick, horrifying bursts. First, you get a pretty standard SOS asking for a doctor. Okay, that's urgent, but not unheard of. But then, almost right away, a second message comes through. Possibly second officer dead, other crew members too. Whoa. After that, they send their position. And then, the final jumble transmission from a single operator, I die. And then nothing, just static, complete silence. With that radio dead, a rescue was launched immediately. But what the rescuers were about to find would only make the mystery deeper, turning what they thought was a ship in distress into a real-life floating tomb. So the closest ship happened to be an American one, the Silver Star. Her captain didn't even hesitate. The moment he got the call, he changed course and started steaming full speed ahead towards the Orang Medan's last known location. I mean, he was probably expecting to find a shipwreck or maybe survivors in the water. But when they finally spotted it, the scene was just eerie. The Orang Medan was just sitting there, perfectly afloat. There was no damage, no smoke, not a single sign of any trouble. It was just silent, deathly silent. The crew of the Silver Star started blasting their horns, yelling over loudspeakers, trying to get any kind of response. And all they got back was the sound of the waves. Well, they knew they had to find out what was going on, so a boarding party was sent over to investigate. And what they found next is the stuff of pure maritime legend. The moment they stepped on deck, they realized the horrible truth. From the captain on the bridge all the way down to the engineers, every single person on board the Orang Medan was dead. They were just lying there at their posts as if death had just swept over them in a single, terrifying instant. But it wasn't just that they were dead. No, it was how they looked. Every single body was frozen in this state of sheer, absolute terror. I'm talking faces twisted in agony, eyes bulging wide open staring at the sky, mouths agape in a silent scream. Their arms were even outstretched like they were fighting off some invisible enemy. And here's where it gets even weirder. Despite these looks of unimaginable horror, there wasn't a mark on any of them. No wounds, no bruises, no signs of a fight. It was as if they'd all been, well, literally scared to death. And this bizarre horror wasn't just for the humans. They found the ship's dog, also dead, frozen with its teeth bared, lips pulled back in a snarl, as if it was facing down some unseen threat. And in the radio room, they found the operator, slumped over his key, fingers still poised to send a message. The rescue team, completely shaken by what they'd seen, decided the only thing to do was tow this ghost ship to the nearest port. But the Orang Medan, it seems, wasn't quite ready to give up its secrets. Just as the crew of the Silver Star was getting ready to hook up the tow lines, thick, heavy smoke started billowing up from deep inside the ship, specifically from cargo hold number 4, and things escalated really, really fast. The boarding party had just enough time to scramble back to their own boat, before a huge explosion just ripped the Orang Medan apart from the inside. And within minutes, the ship slid beneath the waves, taking its entire dead crew and all of its secrets with it, right to the bottom of the ocean. So now, the ship is gone, there are no bodies to examine, the only thing left is the story told by the crew of the Silver Star. And that total lack of physical proof has led a lot of people to just write this whole thing off as a tall tale. But the paper trails suggest that something very real happened out there.
Okay, so here's the first major roadblock for anyone trying to solve this. If you look in the official records, like Lloyd's shipping register, there is no SS Orang Medan. It's like the ship never even existed. But, and this is a huge but, you have to remember what the world was like right after World War II. The oceans were like the Wild West, smuggling was everywhere, and tons of ships were operating off the books, using fake names to do all sorts of illegal things.
But the story, it just wouldn't go away. It popped back up in a Dutch newspaper in 1954, which added the juicy detail that the ship was probably smuggling something. And then, get this, in 1958, a mysterious letter laying out the entire incident lands on a desk at the CAA. That letter was kept secret for 45 years. When it was finally declassified in 2003, it proved that US intelligence was taking this ghost story very, very seriously. So, what could have possibly happened? With every scrap of physical evidence gone forever, all we have are theories. And they range from the scientifically plausible all the way to the truly paranormal. Okay, let's break down the main theories. First up, the most scientific one, a chemical leak. The thinking here is that the ship was smuggling something nasty, maybe potassium cyanide, which could mix with seawater and create a poison gas, killing everyone instantly without leaving a mark. And if they were also carrying, say, nitroglycerin, well, that would certainly explain the big boom at the end. Then you've got the conspiracy theory, which centers on the infamous Japanese Unit 731. This was a secret WW2 bioweapons unit that did unspeakable things. This theory says the ship was secretly moving their leftover biological weapons. A leak would be devastating, and it would explain the secrecy, the fake name, and definitely why the CIA was interested. And finally, there's the supernatural. Could the crew have encountered something so alien, so horrifying, that the fear itself is what killed them? At the end of the day, without a shipwreck to explore or bodies to autopsy, the real truth of the SS Orang Medan was buried at sea right along with its crew. All we're left with are these fragments, these chilling stories, and we're left to wonder what really, truly happened that day. It's just a chilling reminder, isn't it? That for all our satellites and our submarines, the ocean still holds on to its secrets. It really makes you wonder, what other stories, what other silent ships are still down there, just waiting in the dark, cold depths?